cancer is with all of us. But she's the first one to die of this horrible disease. Siya pa naman ang aming bunso. Mahal na mahal ho namin siya. Tapos masakit din sa akin dahil mahal na mahal din niya yung mga anak ko. Para ko rin siyang anak tsaka din si Flora. Ako nag-alaga sa kanila. Sila ang huling anak ng mother ko. Pero si Alice is very strict and at the same time, mahal na mahal din niya yung mga kapatid niya. Mahal din niya yung mga anak ko. Silang dalawa lang ni Flora at si Flora wala rin ng asawa. Devoted siya sa mga kapatid niya. Tumutulong siya ng talagang tulong na walang kapalit. She's very rich. Na nag-iisa na lang siya, sila lang dalawa nung araw. Ngayon, nag-iisa na lang siya. Masakit din sa akin. Kasi I love it. Consider ko rin sila at mga anak ko. I got 6 kids. Pero mahal din nila yung mga bata. Alice, may you also rest in peace and let perpetual light upon you. Pray for us also.
Tita, sana makating na sa mga makasama mo na tatay ko, iba pang kapatid mo, maging maayos ka sa kabilang buhay. Maraming salamat sa inyo, tita. Nakarating pa rin kayo rito sa Pilipinas bago kayo mawala. Nalulungkot ako at andito lang kami ng mga kamag-anak mo. Nasa pagyaon mo kakapiling ka pa rin namin. Yun lang po. Thank you. Sa Tita Flor, ingat. Sa Tita Fely, Tito Rene, ingat po sila. Salamat po.
Okay, Dr. Beth.
Hi, how are you? So, ang gusto ko lang sabihin, ang history namin ni Ate Alice, we met in 2010. Naging empleyado ko siya sa Happy Home Healthcare. Hindi ito mga Korean-owned home health agency to. She was introduced to me by our good friend Noel si Mount Pinatubo. Yan ang pinaka-best physical therapist here in Chicago. So si Ate Alice, when she started with us, she was really, hindi yan nagsusobra ng patient, always about, 2 to 3 patients a week. Hindi yan sumusobra ng hindi niya kakayanin. She was very passionate about her work, her being a registered nurse. And she would always collaborate with me and other clinicians para, patients can heal right away her patients. So she would spend her time documenting her notes in our office, maybe, a couple of hours. And that's how I met her. Makwento, madaldal. She was always talking about you guys, Ate Flor, Ate Fely, and nieces and nephew, and how much she loves her mama and her dad. But most of all, I think what really kept her here, alam mo na, yung drive niya to be, yung kanyang profession as a nurse. And then second, ang love niya sa tennis. Parang ang order yata nung bandang huli, tennis na yung number 1, second na yung pasyente. But anyway, Tita Alice is a very assertive person when she is right. And you can hear her roar pag tama siya. And she also knows when to shut her mouth. And so since 2010, we've been really good friends. And she would always talk about you guys and her friends, Ate Lily, Ate Connie, Ate Meg. Although I've never met any one of them, but I've been talking to them since she went back home. And so all of us here together with Roca facilitated her trip to Pinas kasi she's been, planning all along. 2 years even before the pandemic, walang nangyayari. So finally, sabi ko, Ate Alice, kami na mag-ayos niyan, ha? Pati yung pagbabox, lahat yan, kami na nag-ayos. Sabi ko, ang gagawin mo na lang, sumakay ng eroplano. And I think God heard her prayers kasi ang wish niya talaga makauwi. And to see all of you guys, especially Tita Flor, kasi nga pareho silang single. And then she never stopped talking about you guys, talaga how much she loved you. And I think God heard her prayers. So, Ate Alice, to the best nurse I ever had in, here in United States, I wish you all the best and I will miss you a lot. See you soon. Okay. Whatever that means, I will see you also. Ang plano pa nga namin, magkita kami after the pandemic. But anyway, I wish you all the best. Nandiyan ka na sa safe, pinaka-safest and very peaceful place and kasama mo na yung parents mo. I love you very much.
My name is Noel.
Noel,
And,
the physical
Noel
therapist.
Pinaw, yeah. And I met Alicia in 96 when I joined Illinois Masonic Home Health as a part-time job to supplement my full-time job to earn extra. And the minute we met each other, we just clicked. Siya yung what we would call babaeng bakla, which is she's very, very, she can just blend well with anybody, and she and we just clicked. Like Dr. Beth said, she's an exemplary nurse. She is very well known in hospitals or in home health as a one-stick nurse, because nurses would encounter a patient wherein they have a hard time getting a vein to stick an IV in, or they would call an intern or a doctor, and they also cannot get an IV in. So they all say, call Alicia is their last resort. And with Alicia, it's just one stick. So she's known anywhere as the one-stick nurse. What I like about her is masungit nga siya, but it's part of her charm. Personally, when it's just her and I, matunog siya magmura. But again, it's part of her charm, which just makes us all laugh, which adds flavor to whatever it is we're talking about. She will not sleep until all her notes are done, until she has brainstormed what to do with the patient tomorrow who is a problem patient. She will consult me and ask for my opinion if it's time to call a doctor and if I can back her up. When she's really concerned for her patients, and she does get affected when any of her patients pass away on her watch. Up to, I only found out before Christmas, December, kasi we're always out in the field, although malapit lang siya sa akin, nakatira. When I greeted her Christmas, she told me that she was in the hospital. She just got out of the hospital, I think, at that time. And nagulat ako, and that's wherein she confided to me everything that's been going on. She updated me on that it's in her blood, that they're getting tests. But knowing Alicia, she's a self-treater. She will not just rely on the doctor's opinion because she's very well experienced. She's an ICU nurse for just about every popular hospitals here in the city. She will have the last say on her care, up to the point her oncologist wanted to take further tests on her, to the point she said, no, I will just continue my chemo and that's it. And I think she was taking something for the tumor to help shrink it. So she's very proactive in her care. She doesn't just take anything that's said to her at face value. And that's what I love about her. Her strength of character, and she gives me advice. And what I miss about her, because she's very religious, is like it's Holy Week. Every after the Thursday Mass, sabay kami lagi niya magbisita iglesia. And of course, I'll be the designated driver. But when I finish my prayers ahead of her, when we are at one church, papagalitan ako niyan, ang bilis mo naman. So I will tell her, I will wait for you. I won't leave you here, but I'll wait for you. And then when we're in the car, nagdadasal ka ba talaga? So, her seriousness in taking her faith, she also mixes it well with her brand of sense of humor. So to the point na I was helping her randomly pack the boxes, pack her stuff, and it was very surreal to me. Hindi ko inisip na mangyayari agad dito kay Alicia and this fast. So, but anyways, to the last minute, nung sinundo siya dito nung friend niya to bring her to O'Hare, I will always remember when the van was leaving, we just held eye contact, and while she was waving at me with her mask on, and that's the last thing I remember about her, waving at me and holding my gaze. But I could see in her eyes, there was a little fear, uncertainty, and disappointment. And looking at her condo, which was already practically empty at that time, it was reality also sinking in on me, which was hard to take. Considering I just lost a friend to cancer last October, and now I could not accept that she's going to be next in line. But if it's God's will, I have to respect that. So she always talked about, I asked her randomly, alam na ba ng kapatid mo, lalo na yung panganay? And she's very concerned about her oldest sister. I forgot her name, Flor ba or Fely? She said, ay hindi, aatakihin yun sa puso. And she's very concerned that she doesn't want her to know. So anyways, despite her suffering, she's very concerned about everybody there at home and how they will take it once she comes home. So I want to thank her parents, whom she always talks about, her mom and her dad, for bringing Alicia into this world, and faith, God, for allowing me to meet Alicia and giving me a perspective in caring for other patients as well. So with that in mind, I will continuously pray for Alicia and for the family and loved ones she leaves behind. So, and that's all. Thanks, Roca.
Okay. Hindi, kwento ko lang yung mga kay Tita Alice nung bata pa tayo. Naalala niyo yung nung circumcision ko? Nandito si Tita Alice and gusto niyo manood ng circumcision diyan sa music room. Then, pinagalitan kayo, takbo na ng takbo. Tapos sinabi niya, hindi kayo pwede pumunta. Tapos, after ng circumcision, siya maglilinis nung vital parts ko. Nakakatuwa naman kasi, sobrang linis niya, 50 ml ng agua oxigenada. Talagang, niya, yung dilinisin niya, uubusin niya yon. Tapos, after nun, yung betadine, 20 ml, uubusin niya rin yon. Yun, sa umaga at sa gabi, dilinisin niya. Hindi ako makapagreklamo sa masakit ba? Hindi po. Sabi ko, tapos after nung mga 3 days, kahit na namamaga pa, sabi ko kay Tita Alice, okay na, sabi niya. Oo po, okay na, sabi ko. Pero talagang namamaga pa, ako na lang naglinis sa sarili. Kasi nga, sobrang takot ko sa kanya na yung bang maglinis siya 15 minutes, bago niya linisin. Tsaka ang fondest memory kay Tita Alice, hindi niya nakakalimutan ang parang ko. Every year yun. Last siyang nagpapadala ng mga gamit. Lalo na nung nagkasakit. Storya. Siya daw kasi emotional. Kasi, Tita Alice kasi hindi niya makalimutan si pangalan niya Carlos. Always niya sinasabi, kamusta si Carlos? Kahit na yung nasa stage siya, parati niya naalala yung tatay ko. Kahit na ako ngayon, always na nadalala niya ako sa sapatos, sandals. Last February lang, hindi ko nga alam na nandito na pala may sakit. Okay na siguro. Nagiging emotional. Sorry. Roca, Noel. Kasi hindi naman kami masyadong nagsama dito, Alicia. Pero yung kanyang presence niya, hindi niya nakakalimutan. Kahit na ako, wala na tatay ko, always na nakaalala ko niya. Yun nga yung sa kanya, pagandaan niya. May tweet siya, sobrang niya, lalo na pag nandiyan siya sa planta, puro linis siya. Kaya na siguro, Roca, masyado na ako nagiging emotional. Thank you.
Ako, I have something to say about Tita Chuchay. During the time that she was here in the house, her last days, the boxes are coming in and I couldn't imagine how all those boxes were packed. There's like 30 or 40 boxes of her clothes. So sabi niya, all her friends help. But the amazing thing is because she's so strong, she went to the States, went back to the Philippines alone. So, grabe yung determination niya. Kasi when she came back, medyo mahina na siya eh. So, parang we were saying, Tita, you were able to go home? Kasi sana susunduin ni Ruel, sana may dadating, one of her friends will come here with her. But she said, no na. Actually, she was saying, masyadong mahal para meron pang tao. She's so matipid para sa sarili niya. But for others, looking at the boxes, the so many shopping, the Costco, parang her life talaga was, her finances were really for the cousins, her pamangkins, her mga kapatid. And kaya when she was talking, like when we were opening the boxes in front of her, she was like relieved. Especially yung mahiwagang kasirola niya na takot siya na nilagay niya sa box. So when she saw it, parang she was so relieved. And I think she was happy when she got home because when she got home, she was surprised that the family, Tita Flor, was able to fix her room. She had everything she wanted was here. It was set. And she was relieved and willing. So ako, I want to honor my Tita Chuchay for being so strong, so strict. Nakakatakot si Tita Chuchay when she talks. But I realized that that's her love language. So, thank you.
She's very generous sa atin lahat ever since bata pa tayo until now na meron na ako. May mga anak na ako. Pumasa na yung pagiging generosity ni tita sa mga anak ko. Kahit wala ako sa Pilipinas, I'm very thankful. representative yung mga anak ko pag nagpapadala si Tita Ali. I'm very thankful for all of that. Ano lang ako, na-amaze lang ako kay Tita kasi she's not a mother, pero the way that she give advice to me, recently kasi nakakapag-usap kami na despite of yung time ng namin is madaling araw sa kanya, tapos ako naman is gabi, meron siyang time to spend para kausapin ako at tanungin kung kamusta ako, how's the situation sa mga anak ko. Laging niyang tinatanong sa akin yon during the time na nakakapag-usap kami. Tapos, the way that she give an advice, parang hindi naman siya nanay, pero ma-amaze ka sa kanya na maano siya magbigay ng advice. Siguro sa dami niya ng pamangkin na hindi ko yung makakalimutan. Ang dami niyang in-advise sa akin. Personally, hindi ko na masabi. Pero sobra akong thankful at ina-apply ko pa rin till now, being a nanay sa mga anak ko. Kasi maliit lang ang pasensya ko sa lahat ng bagay. Pero sabi nga niya tignan mo yung at saka dahil mahaba ang pasensya niya, maging ganun ka, matuto ka. Alam mo yun, yung sobrang thankful ako sa lahat ng na during that time na I'm in a bad situation, or siguro hindi ko masasabing depressed ako o ko sa mga sitwasyon kasi hirap, diba, pag nasa abroad ka, wala kang like ako masyado akong emotional kasi hindi naman ako ganun malapit sa mga ko dito. So parang feeling ko alone ako. So thankful ako dahil imagine mo nag-spend talaga siya ng oras para magtanong o para makamustahin ka sa ganung sitwasyon. Yun lang, sobra akong thankful at kahit sa huling niya, maano pa rin siya yung thinking niya, yung caring niya sa mga sa amin, sa atin lahat is talagang mafe-feel mo na sobrang niya, lagi siya nandiyan para to give you guidance at saka to let you feel how talagang paano siya magmahal sa atin lahat. Thank you.
I never met her personally. I wasn't even born yet when she left the country to work in the US. I met her through a phone call way back in 1989 when my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. And a year after, we spoke again after my mom's surgery, and then she goes like, send her to Philippines. Basically, I've always been a rebel child, and I was about to quit school, and because I got pregnant at a very young age, and she scolded me like through a telephone. I have to put the phone away from my ears because she was really yelling at me. And she was able to encourage me to finish my high school. And back then, if you go summer school, you pay. So I was like, well, I'm not going to ask my mom and dad to pay for my summer school. And then she called my school. She literally called my school and says, I want to pay for my niece tuition fee and whatever she needs to, so she can go to her, because I'm only short 1.5 credit to finish my high school. And the school said, oh, there's a Alicia Constantino called and said she's going to send me money for your books and for your for your summer school so you can graduate. I was like, but I'm pregnant. I was like, well, she fixed everything and all you have to do, she paid for everything. All you have to do is show in school. I was like, okay. And so all our communication is through phone calls only. There's no Facebook, no FaceTime or anything. And every time I would try to visit the Philippines, she just got back, she just left. So that's why we never met personally. And then she changed phone number, I changed phone number, we totally lost contact. And when she was new on Facebook, I was like, who's Alicia Constantino? It's a wrong spelling. So I was like, maybe it's not her. So I hesitated to add her. And then she called me and said, this is Chuchay. I was like, Chuchay. I was like, your mom's sister, the youngest one. Oh, yeah. I was like, how come we never had the chance to meet personally? So it was a few months after when she was diagnosed and she told me, never tell anyone. And that's how I honor her. It's like not telling anybody that I was one of the first one to know her diagnosis. And I was like, I want to tell my siblings, don't tell anybody, not even your mga kapatid, because I want to tell them myself when I go back. So thank you for scolding me to finish my high school. And the only request she has back then, send a picture of my two kids back then. So from phone call, that was the last request that she made from me, is send him a picture of Kyle and Bianca, which I did. And she saw my two other kids on Facebook. So she was like, oh, you have 4 kids pala. So yes, Tita, thank you. Regardless that we never met in person, I know we will someday, but just not yet. Thank you, Tita.
I just want to share yung mga memories ko with Tita. The most important memory na naalala ko from Tita Alice was hindi siya nakakalimot na bigyan kami ng regalo. Ultimo, bed covers, damit, food. Yun yung mga naalala ko. Every time na uuwi siya, she will visit us. Tapos, pupunta kami sa bahay ni Tita. Manonood lang kami ng movie. Sayang, hindi ko siya nakausap. Pero, yun lang yung naalala ko. Madalas, lagi siyang may padala. Hindi siya nakakalimot. Kasi nga, alam niya, yung daddy ko tsaka mami ko, wala nun. So, kung ano yung pwede niyang padala, padadala niya sa amin. Lagi yan, hindi yan nakakalimot. Kahit ano ipapadala niya yan, maalala lang kami. Yun yung pinaka-good memories ko kay Tita. Naalala ko, pinadala niya ako ng malaking can na Chicago Bulls na may laman na popcorn. I love you, Tita Alice. Thank you.
Si Roel, bago pamadala si Tita Alice sa hospital, chinato ko ni Roel para kung may time akong dumaan doon sa pasalubong Tita Jujay. Then, natanggap ko yun, nagulat ako na grabe, sabi ko, sobrang critical na si Tita, nandun pa rin yung mga pag-aabala niya sa pasalubong. Hindi, sinabi ko kay Roel na hindi ako makadaan kasi papunta akong Batangas. Sabi ko 21, pwede kong ano. Kaya lang nagulat ako na nabaltaan ko na nasa hospital na si Tita Chuchay. Then nung Tita Flor, lagi kami nag-uusap and text. Nalalaman ko na umaano yung araw ay nagiging critical. And then on March 23, nag-video call yung pamangkin ko na si Julia na caregiver na nag-alaga at tita, bantay, isa sa nagbantay na gamit niya yung tab ni Tita Chuchay. Nagot ako, nakita ko, oh, Tita Chuchay, pero pinatawag yata, inutos yata na ano. Then nagkaroon ako ng pagkakataon na makita si Tita Chuchay na nasa bed na medyo, wala pa siyang ano sa face na sipap na nakalagay. Na nakita ko na nakatitig siya sa akin. Nasabi ko naman lahat. Thank you ako na kahit na totoo yung sinabi ng mga pinsan ko na tsaka ng mga kapatid ko na ultimo towel, talagang pasalubong tita. Lahat. Kaya nung time na nagkausap kami, so sobrang pa na yung wave ko. Thank you ako ng thank you, iyak ako ng iyak na sabi ko, kaya mo yan tita. Sana hinihiling. Pray, dahil Tita Flor, hinihiling ng pray. Rosary, pray, na magdugtungan sana yung mga araw para sana makabanding pa natin. Kaso hanggang doon na lang talaga. Nasabi ko naman lahat ng thank you. Sobrang mahal namin siya kasi naramdaman namin na hindi lang pala halos lahat mahal tayo mga pamangkin. Ganyan lang Ate Roca. Sobra, thank you. Sobra. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bernie. I don't recall ever meeting Tita Alice. I was very young when I left the Philippines. My only memory of her was Christmas time and lots of gifts. I think my favorite one was Beauty and the Beast doll, Belle. And lots of, basically that, because I left the Philippines at 6 years old, so I don't remember much of Tita Alice, but that is one of my memories of her.